Hey everyone, welcome back to another Cats and Rats post-game show. I'm your host Kirby Lupo, joined alongside my co-host Nick Levine and Chris with a K back with us here today. But unfortunately, we're able to get these W's, gentlemen, during our live streams, but not during these scheduled post-game shows.
No, we're not. Maybe that should tell you something.
We're bringing different guests on, right, Chris? We're trying.
I was hoping Chris with a K would help instead of Chris with a C, but that didn't help, did it?
No, it did not. Well, then we got to get Chris with a K on for a live stream. Then we can definitively say.
No, because then I'll ruin that.
No, you're not going to ruin it. Don't say that.
Before we do start here, I want to mention we're going to announce our contest winner a little bit later on, probably after the ad break reads. So make sure to stay tuned for that. The Anton Lundell JSA certified signed photo. And we have more exciting contests ahead upcoming this week. But gentlemen, where do we start with this one here tonight? The 3-1 loss. Sounds like
Chris, go ahead.
Well, first, I mean, they said at the beginning of the broadcast that the Panthers hadn't lost to the Sharks since, 2017? 12 straight. So I guess that was going to end at some point. I think the Panthers grew into the game. Obviously, the second and third period were, really good. I was really happy with the fourth line in the third period. They put in, it was like 2 or 3 really good shifts. So I thought, okay, maybe the Panthers' depth would really get rolling here. Sharks on the second night of a back-to-back. That was actually the Sharks' first win on a back-to-back this year. They were 0-2-1 coming into the season. Into this game. So I don't like the deservometer. So it is what it is. Panthers lost.
Yeah, I Cody, our guy here, writing a comment here, could take this game. I could through the second and third, but some critical mistakes in this game, Nick. Aaron Ekblad.
Well, I think kind of the story of kind of that LA game, obviously, you start off a little bit rough. I believe the shots are very similar. I believe it was 15-7 after the first period in the Los Angeles King game. It was 14-7 after the first period here in this game. Obviously, it all gets started with that Ekblad play in the corner on Will Smith. It's not even a turn. It's not even he got rid into the boards. He was Will Smith forced to turn over. Aaron Ekblad just overskated the puck, right? So,
and that was at the end of a power play too, Nick. That really
correct.
Killed.
So, obviously, it's difficult, and you're taking a look at 38-23 the shots. I get the premise of what Cody says. I think we did a lot of good things in this game, but it's kind of becoming a constant theme again. You can't buy a goal, right? It's like puck luck, however you want to say it, puck luck. How you're picking your shots, your chances, whatever is a quality or quantity over quality. I think a lot of those chances are from the point. They're, right on Askar's chest. Now, there's a lot of loose pucks in front. You got to get to them. We're not able to get to them. But, we're 7-7-1 right now, obviously. And I think my main takeaway from this is you take a look at a guy like Daniil Tarasov. 4 losses this year in his 4 starts. There was a stat shown before the game, Kirby, on the Florida broadcast.
And where are you going with this?
And it says 1.65. That's the amount of average goal support Daniil Tarasov has gotten in his starts, compared to Askarov, who was at 3.85, which is the 5th highest in the NHL. Tarasov, one of the lowest. The trend continued for only 1 goalie tonight. But I think if you're starting to look at this, we need to start banking points. And when you keep having trouble scoring on these power plays, there was a 5-on-3 for 11 seconds. So there's opportunities in the game where you got to bury it. And unfortunately, I could say I thought we played well. I thought we did some really good things. I thought we kind of continued how we ended in the middle part of this game after the first period, the way we ended in LA. But it's not enough again. And, credit to Askarov. I don't think he was terrific. I don't think he was forced to do too much. But in particular, I think that third period, there's just a couple of different, kind of the same old story of what we've been going through this whole season, Kirk.
Chris, if you want to add on that, I've got a question for you too, Chris.
No, yeah. Talking about Askarov, I also think that the Sharks did a good job supporting him by kind of packing the low slot there and making sure there were a lot of bodies around in case there were rebounds just to clear it out. So I think they did a good job of supporting him in that regard.
Yeah, Chris, yeah, good point there. I have a question for you, and I think for some Panther fans, I was reading stuff. Again, you don't want to spend too much time on Facebook, but I read some stuff this week on the Anaheim Ducks, and fans were frustrated with that loss. Is it hard for some fans, Panther fans, we're in the East, these teams are in the West,
Right.
wrap their minds around that Anaheim and San Jose are getting much better and really here, Chris?
Both above 500. San Jose started off, I think, 0-5-1, 0-5-2. I'm not completely sure. And then now they have a winning record. They're set 7-6-2.
Yeah, but I
So-
also think that
Chris, what
the
like
East,
the mindset, just not the record, the mindset on that.
the East is a slog. There's only one
Mhm.
team currently sitting under 500 in the East, and it's the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah,
And they were just under, like, as of yesterday, everybody was above 500 or above.
at least
so.
500, right? Correct. And I think, Chris, the important part is you need to take advantage. Like we were talking about early in the season. Okay, let's bank these points. We went 3-0 the first week. You got Philadelphia, you got Pittsburgh, New Jersey, Detroit, in there, New Jersey. But then you look at Detroit and like, oh, okay. All of a sudden you lose 3 or 4 of those games, and now you're battling in the thick of it here. That's where we really, I think it can come back to haunt us when we'll look back at the early part of this season. We're in the midst of it here right now, which is fine. It's good. But I thought, looking back to it in the longer picture ahead, we missed an opportunity in those first couple games. And, I think we've been playing better over the last 2 weeks. I mean, it kind of seems like such a far stretch how we were playing that first week. We were set it off 3-0. It looked like we were missing nobody. Now you're really starting to see those injuries pile up. Obviously today, Jonah Gadjevich, Paul Maurice announced will be out for 3 months. Will be having surgery for an injury he sustained in the Vegas Golden Knights game. But, again, I mean, it's just a lot of inconsistency right now, results-wise. I thought we have played better this week. But again, there's been times where I think, okay, I think our game is we've kind of figured out our game. There's something left to be desired offensively. And then you have a game like Anaheim. So I'm not really sure kind of where to put this team right now, guys, with what to expect on a nightly basis. And, there's been nights where, Kirby, we've had that third, fourth goal. Tonight we didn't have it, and, it cost us. But we got to have to regroup for Vegas here. But my question is, how are we going to play from here on out? It's just been wildly up and down with some of the results we've been getting.
Well, we got one game left on this road trip here before they return home. But Chris, my question to you is, was it more the guys not finding their spots tonight? Was it being goalied? A combination? What are your feelings here? I'll tell you mine now.
Well, one, it hurts that the difference today essentially is a self-inflicted wound. It's a 1-goal game, and Ekblad really messed up there. The other thing is, I know the Panthers got a lot of shots on goal per the stats. I don't know that they were really testing Tarasov
Right.
east and west. Like, they weren't really good scoring chance setups. Now, I
Right.
will say, after the first period, I know the Sharks had a big advantage, but I felt like the scoring the chances were actually felt kind of even. But they weren't really challenging
Missed net,
him.
missed opportunities off the post here, block shot there.
Yes, exactly. Even Marchand's goal was just really kind of like a broken play, and he found open
Mhm.
space in a gaping net and just put it in. So I don't think they were testing the Sharks in that regard.
Kirby, go ahead.
No, Nick, go ahead. No.
I completely agree. I think take a look at the first period there. We were getting outshot, but it's like Reinhart has a chance here that just misses wide. Well, that was a common theme tonight, as it has been throughout the course of the season. And, whether it be missing wide or shots getting blocked, Askarov had trouble handling the puck behind the net on one play. Mackey was right there. I actually do agree with. Now, I didn't like how we handled the Sharks' speed through the first period. I'm going to be completely honest. I'll say through the second half of that first period. Actually, the first half was kind of, whatever, and I was actually pretty okay with it. But Sharks had some chances. They have a lot of speed. They have a lot of skill, and they get off to a quick start. I agree with your assessment, Chris, that it was early on in the game that I think we actually had our better chances. I can't recall really anything too great in the second and third period. There were some chances here and there, right in front, like Marchand always around the net, around the puck. But we need more. I mean, for example, like Jesper Boqvist, he was moving, he was out there a bit tonight. It really developed into nothing. Sam Reinhart, I thought, was buzzing, especially early on here tonight, and was throughout the game. and he just missed. Like, there was this time, I think, on the penalty kill where becomes a 2-on-1. Evan Rodriguez makes a really nice move at center ice, and they're back the other way. Mikula's trailing, and Rodriguez tries to hit Reinhart, or it might have been Reinhart trying to hit Rodriguez. I think it was Reinhart who was trying to receive the pass, and it was just a little too far out in front of him. That pass is on target. There's an opportunity there. Reinhart picks that puck up. He was flying out there tonight, had another nice chance on the backhand. But I think it really kind of all goes down to, when you look at it, despite all these chances, it was one play that really kind of separated it. It was that Ekblad play, and, there's really nothing else I can say other than you have to move on. And I agree with what Aiden said here. You have to move on and play Vegas. I mean, I didn't have a problem with how we played tonight. I mean, you can argue the chances we're getting offensively. Are we making the most of it? I mean, they're self-inflicted wounds. I think everybody in here would agree. It's self-inflicted. You got to hit the net.
You can't have
turn the puck over.
Wounds against a rookie-laden young team and have them come out in front. And they've done that. San Jose has done that at home this year in these close games. They lost a few at the beginning of the year against, I want to say, Vegas and Anaheim. They've now beat New Jersey, Winnipeg, Colorado, and Florida. These are teams that people are saying Stanley Cup contending teams. Regardless of how the Panthers lineup looks right now, you win the games that are in front of you, and they're doing a good job at home. And they're winning by scoring high-volume games and these close-scoring games now, as we can see here.
So you take a look at the box score here, and finding it to be very interesting. And taking a look at some of these ice times now. Sam Bennett at just 15 minutes of ice time. Then you have AJ Greer at 8:10. Sam Miskevich, 14:41. Reinhart over 21 minutes of ice time, as is Lundell. I mean, take a look at the discrepancy there from one center to the next. Evan Rodriguez, Kirby, actually outplayed Sam Bennett here tonight. 18.5 minutes. So 8.5 from 8:10 from Greer, 9.5 from Gregor, over 20 from Verhaeghe. You have Losterman playing over 18, Marchand playing over 20. But, minute allocation there, top six guys being relied on heavily, particularly through the late stretch of the game here. And you'll actually see the shots on goal per period here. It was 14-6 in favor of San Jose in the first period. Then it just flipped. It completely turned. That was Florida's arguably one of their best periods of the year, the second period, 20-3, and then 13-6. I actually think San Jose did a pretty nice job, all things considered, of how they managed that third period. And particularly, I think they cut some things to the outside. Obviously, we had our chances. We were buzzing, but I think San Jose really showed some maturity there in their game. And then take a look at the defenseman minutes. Donovan, Sabrango, and Jeff Petrie around 12, 13 minutes. That means the top four played a heavy amount of minutes tonight. Seth Jones, 26-44.
I like Seth Jones' game tonight, especially early on. Jeff Petrie in that first period, too. I know there was a comment that Seth Jones missing the net. Well, we're getting shots from the point that are non-threatening.
I'm looking at this here.
That Forsling shot early was a nice save, but, Ekblad just throwing
I'm looking at this here.
Passes to the front of the net.
Seth Jones, 26-44. The next closest guy to him is Nico Mikkel at 19-35. Both Gustav Forsling and Aaron Ekblad were below 20 minutes tonight, and I find that to be I'm like shocked by that. Ekblad 19-29, Gustav Forsling 18-07.
How many is cut off there, Nick, on the San Jose stats, but how many power plays they had tonight?
5.
Let me see. They were
0 for 5.
0 for 2. They were
San Jose was 0 for 2.
Okay. Because if there was 4 or 5 power plays, then I would be even more surprised by Forsling and Ekblad's lack of ice time there. But being as there was only 2.
There we go. And yeah, I mean, considering that, we had 5 power plays. They only had 2. There's not really much explanation for the ice time distribution there, which I find to be very interesting. Seth Jones far and away the ice time leader here tonight. And then at Tarasov, another good game. You're getting quality starts out of your backup goaltender. And I think he falls now to 0-3-1. I feel kind of bad for the guy at this point. And then we'll take a look here at San Jose.
Yeah, and I just want to jump in on this comment from Aiden here, guys, in the chat. I've said this all year, depending on an advanced stage Brad Marchand, no matter how well he's playing, it's a lot that you're asking for there. You got Erod playing out of position. I've liked Rhino's game. Chat, you guys can let us know. Let us know in the comments in the morning as well what you guys think of some of the individual performances. But, Sam Reinhart coming to this game, Nick, I think has 5 goals in 6 games.
Yeah, and, it's really coming from 2 guys right now. And I think you could argue 3, Lundell in that mix with Marchand and Reinhart, but that's not enough. And I said this a couple weeks ago. I've been saying it throughout the course of the last couple weeks. night in and night out, we just don't have the best player on the ice. And the depth, which is our strength,
I think we've
It's
had the
not-
best player on the ice when it comes to Brad Marchand, as we have your hot take.
well, when you have Max and Celebrini on the other side there, but I will say that
No,
Brad
but you
Marchand.
said most nights. I think, Chris, what's your thoughts on that statement by Nick there?
Well, as far as having the best player on the ice.
The game.
Well, I don't know if he was making a Barkov like reference as far as not having.
Yeah,
the
not
best.
having Barkov. Yep.
Yeah, I will say, speaking of Barkov not being around and Erod and where he's slotting in now in the lineup, I do like. Obviously, he's not Barkov, but I like the way that Erod is looking
Yes.
with Reinhardt and with Carter, because he's a little bit of a jack of all trades kind of guy. So he's filling in a lot of those different holes that Barkov would be able to cover on the ice.
No, you're good, Aiden, but we really do appreciate the comments, Aiden. So there's no much yap, and you should hear me most nights. But that's an excellent point, Chris, because me and Kirby were talking about it. Evan Rodriguez was a trade chip coming into this season when Barkov was healthy, and what's going to happen there. I think he's done a really admirable job down the middle of the ice. He's being asked to have a really difficult role, and I think he has played very well, not excluding the circumstances, but taking that into account. I mean, he's just been absolutely outstanding. I mean, he really is the one that was able to get Reinhardt going here, because remember at the beginning of the year, Reinhardt, I think, was with Lundell for a little bit. Then he was with Bennett and Verhaeghe, and it wasn't working. And they finally moved. They had Etulo Starinen at 3C. And then Evan Rodriguez moves to that center position, and they haven't moved off of it since. And, I know it's mixed results right now, but it's the best we've gotten all year. So it's going to be interesting to see moving forward if that can continue. Obviously, I think Evan Rodriguez's game, Kirby, we were talking about it. You kind of starting to see a little bit more of his skill show out here, like on that really nice center ice move that led to the 2-on-1 and the penalty kill. And he's being used in all situations, power play, penalty kill, which he has been able to do in the past prior to coming to Florida.
Yeah, Chris, I'm wondering as well on the Sam Reinhart factor of playing with Erod and Verhaeghe, how much, not just talking that line, but individually that Sam Reinhart will produce offensively. With regards to the power play, I think you're going to need to get guys finding Reinhart to be able to set him up in that bumper spot.
Yeah, and I think when you take a look, shots need to get through a little bit more. I mean, that to me, Chris, has been a very big issue for us and Aaron Ekblad. Randy Moeller mentioned it on the broadcast today. Ekblad wants to be more intentional about getting pucks through. I think he was a little too intentional about that tonight and ended up costing us some opportunities.
I'm also I am so done with Carter Verhaeghe and Bennett on the power play. I can't. There were periods. Now I will say Verhaeghe kind of did grow into the game. I think he had a better second half of the game. The first half of the game, man, he was frustrating me, and it reminded me of Huberdeau a little bit because he's just kind of hanging out by the wall. You know what I'm saying? And if the puck ends up on his stick, it's like he's almost like doesn't know what to do with it, or he ends up losing it. And then Bennett, one moment in particular was after the 5-on-3. Then all of a sudden he like turbo skated right towards the like low slot into like a double team and just got dispossessed really easily. I just, it's frustrating with those two guys in the power play.
Yeah, I think that's been a common theme all year. That goes back to last year. You wish Carter Verhaeghe would be more of a key vocal point on the power play, but it just doesn't seem to be that style of game. Remember, there was a stat a couple of years ago where all his goals through the season, it was like 20 goals or 25 goals. They were all even strength. None of them were on the power play. I thought tonight, and to maybe Aiden's point a little bit, Paul Maurice was searching all night long. Who do I trust on the power play? It was a flip-flop all night. You're not building any continuity.
And I think
guys don't even know if they're starting the power
I
play.
think that's a problem, not just on special teams, curve. I think that's a problem throughout the game. And there's only a very few handful of guys that he genuinely trusts right now. And you take a look at it.
It's more of an issue, Nick, on the power play when you're seeing.
I agree with you, but you're telling me you're looking at some of these minutes, how they're allocated, and that there's not some form of trust issues in this type of game. It's not like the game script was causing some of these numbers to be skewed one way or the other.
Well, and you were,
Chris, they're coming off a back-to-back. We are not after the rest of the league. But go ahead, Chris.
No, yeah, and you were talking about the minutes distribution. If you really look at the fourth line minutes, which are under 10, And I feel like the
Mhm.
majority of those minutes were in the third period, or a good chunk of them. So
Yeah.
if you really think about it, the fourth line was kind of invisible or just
Yeah.
very underused the first two periods. Like Maurice was not able to
Mhm.
roll all four lines all game.
And I think 8 or 9 minutes is actually, for what you have right now, is okay.
Mhm.
But I agree with you that it wasn't really much of a factor in those first two periods, and they were generating chances. I mean, we're beat up really bad right now, and I'm wondering, why isn't Luke Cunnin in there? And that's no disrespect to how Gregor and how Schwint have played, but I think Luke Cunnin brings maybe a little something in that bottom six. Maybe you could trust him a bit more. I'm not sure. I'm not huge on Schwinn on the penalty kill. And in past years, our penalty kill has been just spectacular, and it hasn't been terrible. It's just been below average. And I think you're really starting to see the injuries just pile up, and it's okay. It's a chunk here, a little chunk there, some part of your game there, and it adds up. And to me, biggest takeaway from tonight is not anything else. It, to me, is the minutes. I mean, I don't know how anybody looks at that. I, I can't, in my mind, can't figure out why Gustav Forsling played less than 20 minutes tonight, and Aaron Ekblad. And I know their play's been questionable at best, but you're under 20 minutes and you're supposed to be the top pair, and Sam Bennett making $8 million playing 15 minutes. Brad Marchand's 37 years old, and he has to play over 20 minutes a night, and he leads your team in goals, has 10 goals. And how many games over we have played? 18? 15? Something like
15.
that?
18, 15, I think. Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of things here that aren't ideal, and it really comes down to, you have 4 goals from guys making $15 million, Sam Bennett and Carter Verhaeghe. If they're producing, it takes some of the load off of these other guys.
Well,
Maybe it
I think
opens up.
the goals for right now, we're with Buffalo at the bottom. Of
Yeah,
the
and that's been the problem.
and
I don't
only
think.
the Rangers are behind us in the Eastern Conference.
And here's the thing: when you can't buy a goal and then you make defensive miscues like this, the margin for error is already very slim.
Let's add Aiden's point here on Tarasov. You guys have anything to add on Tarasov here? We haven't talked about him.
Go ahead, Chris.
I think we should get him one before the season's over.
Yeah.
I think he did a pretty good job. I will say the Sharks are not a great shot creation team. They're actually God, what I look at it. They were ranked 29th. Yeah, they're 29th in shots for a game, and actually this is below their season average of only about 25 a game. So they're not like they're not this high shot attempt team.
He made some big saves.
Chris, do you have any rush numbers there? Because I feel they're like with New Jersey at the top.
Not right in front of me. They rank. I was looking at their stats. They rank kind of like middle of the pack in most of like power play, PK, so on and so forth. But I was surprised considering their young team. They're gunning. They're 10th in goals for, but yeah, they're bottom of the league when it comes to shot attempts. So I think Tarasov, considering what he was facing all night, did a good job. I also think I like your point about the PK, Nick. They did a disservice to him. At one point in the third period, oh my God, Ekblad, you had the puck on your stick and plenty of room to clear the puck out of the zone, and he was deep in the zone, and he just kind of like pushed it forward right back towards the Sharks attacker. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Just like shoot it out of there, and he made no effort whatsoever to shoot it out. So the PK definitely wasn't doing any favors.
Yeah, and to your point, Chris, I mean, I can feel. I think the one player that's been kind of screwed over the most this year, there's been many, but Daniil Tarasov. I mean, he's been excellent in each of his starts. I mean, I'll say this. I mean, your goal support's less than 2 goals a game. You're averaging 1.4 goals per game with your backup in, and these are 1-goal games. Mm-hmm. These are 1-goal games. So
he's
what I'm saying,
getting that goal support. Like
he's not getting anything. I mean, Kirby, you played baseball. You're a pitcher. You won't run support, right?
I was thinking the exact same thing, and I'm, wearing my Marlins hat. I'm like, that always frustrates me when you get a gem from a pitcher and there's no run support. That is like one of the most frustrating things.
And I'm looking at some of the numbers here, and I'm looking at some of the numbers here. We're around where San Jose is for high danger shots coming into tonight. I don't know if it's counting tonight. But that's not good because San Jose's 23rd. We're 25th. We're tied for 28 high danger shots for 5v5. Now, in all situations, this might change here a bit, but we're still 23rd. And San Jose actually goes down further down the list here. I'm looking 25th. So around 23rd, 25th, around that the bottom 25% of the league in high danger shots for. So kind of what we were talking about earlier, bringing it back to that point. It's not like we're getting goalied night in and night out. I mean, it really is our shot selection. It really is just not putting the puck in the back of the net. It's execution. It's missing the net. I mean, I think every team every fan in the NHL of any team bitches about their team missing the net. I mean, this I think has really cost us a lot this year. I mean, there was at one point, I forget which game it was, we had 16 missed shots halfway through the game. I think it was the Dallas game. So, look, we have to be a lot better. We have to execute a lot better because the margin for error is so slim. We know this, and you're letting guys like Tarasov down. And again, goaltending's
it's not just us. It's teams in the Eastern Conference that the margin is slim for. You've seen it with Toronto earlier this year. You saw it with Tampa Bay earlier this year. Nick, I want to get to this comment. I've had it on the screen here for a while. Chris, if you know, last year in the playoffs, my two co-hosts, Cody and Nick, and guests that we had on, they gave me a bit of a hard time of like, oh, Kirby, look at all the goals we're creating now from the back. And I'm like, it wasn't there in the regular season, so you can't bank on that in the playoffs. But I'm like, I'll take it. But I don't think you could have baked it in. But this is more to my point last year. We're going to find goals from Forsling and Ekblad. Not likely. I wanted more from Mikkola. Jones, I said I'm a little bit disappointed on that offensive drive because I thought he would have some coming into the season. But I think Jones can develop some as the season goes along. But how many of these guys on the back end are we expecting offense from? I'm frankly not.
Well, I mean, considering and they mentioned it on the broadcast today, and I was thinking about it, early on before Goldie mentioned it. Forsling has a really, really great shot from the point. Like he put some power behind the puck.
I think that developed last year, to be honest.
Yes, I don't know how much Ekblad and Forsling are pinching down in the offensive zone. I know Mikkola loves to, Seth Jones likes to, but I mean, I get it. Gustav Forsling is very much like a stay-at-home defenseman. That's one of the things that makes him really good and dependable. But he's not getting in down low below the goal line as often as someone like Mikkola or Seth Jones does.
I don't think you can trust it.
I just want to jump in on that point, Nick, because if you're taking us away from there. But the media team loves to applaud Gustav Forsling's offensive instincts, but now they're also saying with Aaron Ekblad, Nick, well, he's learning to play the defensive style of game, and we're not going to see that offense like that was there. So who's going to create that then?
That's a problem, and that's why we've been successful the last couple of years. And I agree with you on Seth Jones. A little bit of disappointment there, obviously, but again, the injuries kind of changed the landscape of my expectations with everything. So I wasn't really sure what to expect from the blue line. We thought people were saying, okay, this blue line's going to have to carry us, me and you, Kirby. Chris, I don't know if you have been. We've kind of been the proponent of it drives to our centers. It drives to our system and our structure, not necessarily how the blue line is playing individually. And I'm not saying I wouldn't go as far to say plug and play, but they are very much aided by the system that Paul Maurice has in place. And, I wonder if there is maybe a little bit of lack of trust when you need to activate up the wall and you're not comfortable for the support there as much. I've seen it at times this year, but the consistent of, okay, let's activate. Let's make sure, let's suffocate them. They get it out to the neutral zone. It's right back in. We saw it in the LA game in the third period. We saw
this would have been the perfect team to do it tonight. A Sharks team, and young forward group.
And we saw it at times, but the problem, what has been the whole year, is consistency. We can't find it consistently, and it's leading to when you have execution, like problems executing
with your forwards.
Well, less opportunity, less execution. Here's the result, right? So, I mean, we're a very high volume team when it comes to this. Like, we are going to just throw everything we have at you and get chance after chance after chance. And, we're not getting that this year. And we're really, and again, my mind's still on it, talking about the defenseman activating. I'm shocked at the minutes. I really am. I'm shocked at the minutes. And talking about the defense, we've said all these things about everything. Look at that. This is according to Money Puck right here. We've allowed coming into tonight, I don't know if it's counting tonight, We've allowed the least amount of high danger shots out of any team in the NHL. So it's not like we're, we're in these 2-1, 3-2 games. And I know there's been a lot of talk about the blue line this year and a lot of talk about everybody. I want to give a shout out to Sparango. I really think he's kind of just been doing what he needs to do. I think he's been put into a tough position, and I think he's doing it well. And I think Petrie's starting to get a little bit more comfortable. But, whether it be from the power play or whether it be from activating up in the play, maybe getting a puck through, it goes off a shin pad or something. We're just not getting anything from our defense offensively right now. And it's really hampering our abilities.
And going back to at least creating chances, I was mentioning it in the chat. I think it's really, really, really underrated how much missing Barkov and Kachuk is to this team. They are basically our two best setup men. I know that Reinhardt does a lot on offense, but Reinhardt, in my opinion, and the numbers kind of back it up, is not a great play creator, if you will. I think Barkov by far is the best creator of setting up opportunities for other players on the team, and Kachuk too, even though Kachuk's not a great skater, but he also is a great passer. Those are our best two setup men, our best two guys dishing the puck that we're missing right now. I think that's a huge factor.
I think Kachuk did a good job with it, Nick, when I go back to Brandon Montour. Barkov can do it with any defenseman back there.
I just think we're going to have to continue to play this way. We're going to have to find a way. Some nights it's just not going to be there because personnel.
And Kachuk setting up guys like Bennett.
Yeah, exactly. And that's another conversation.
He's not a playmaking centerman.
No, I think he's not a play driver himself. I think he feeds off of chaos in the game a little bit. And, that's good.
Passes at the right time on his stick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into Sam Bennett. We've had enough discussions with him.
I just wanted to touch on that.
Yeah, but
his best game was against LA by far.
Look, and I understand they were great for us in the playoffs last year. And as much as I value that, it can't do anything for us right now. There's another season to be played. We need them to step up, and they're capable of it. That's why they make the money they do, because they've proven they're capable of it. So,
gentlemen, anything else before we go to ad break, before we move ahead and look to a sneak peek to Vegas here? Anything else?
I kind of want to go to bat for Bennett a little bit. I've been thinking this for a little while. I think we're misplacing Bennett. I think if we really want to look at Bennett and what he is on this team, he is an enforcer with scoring punch. And I think the chaos he brings on the ice and keeping the other team's head on a swivel is where his biggest value is. So in that sense, I think it was not realistic to expect Bennett to step up so much. Lundell, yes. Lundell's the one that I was expecting the most improvement of, or stepping up to in the absence of Barkov. I always thought it was unrealistic to expect that from Bennett, because we know what Bennett is. He hits everything on the ice, and if he can get me 20 goals and 25-ish assists, I'm happy with that.
And if I could just say one thing, Aiden, I agree with the point. We do need to tread water until Kachuk comes back, but I do think banking points is especially crucial for right now, because looking at how the Eastern Conference race is shaking up, I said this to Kirby the other day. Let's say you're around 500 when Matthew Kachuk comes back. Whether or not it takes him some time to get back up to speed, and you're going to have to go down the stretch here without your number one center, regardless of when Kachuk comes back. What confidence level does everybody have that if we hover around 500, we can win at a 60-65% clip down the stretch without our number one center? That's a question. I don't know yet the answer to that. If that's what we're looking at here, that's going to be something we're going to need to assess. Well, not us, them. They're going to need to assess, but I think that's a question I have in mind, is what is the work ahead going to be when Kachuk comes back, and what's realistic? Because, you're missing – Kachuk comes back, you're still going to have a major loss down the middle of the ice. And it's not – certain things are going to continue to be issues. It's not going to be an automatic self-fix, I think. I hope it is. I don't know if it will be. That's one of the concerns I have.
Well said, Nick. Want to take us to break here, and we'll come back after a few words here.
Yeah. Am I frozen here?
Yeah, you might be frozen
for a second.
Okay. So
I will
go to ad break, and I'm gonna go right out and come back in.
Yeah, I will take us to a short break here. Everyone will be back as Nick refreshes here.
Panthers fever is here. Are you geared up? Caneswear in Davie is the place for all your Florida Panthers needs. They have the latest gear for our favorite NHL team. Jerseys, polos, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. Caneswear has you covered. Stop by their store in Davie or at pantherswear.com. Again, that's pantherswear, WEAR.com for all your Panthers gear.
And we are back here with Nick, hopefully refreshed here. Nick,
Yes.
you guys for the Beck cells here?
Yes, we do. Champions don't settle, and neither should you. Let me introduce Jeremy Beckham at Becksells FLA, bringing a competitive edge to South Florida luxury real estate. If you want a home that performs in all three zones, location, lifestyle, and long-term value, Jeremy is your power play. The clock's ticking, so let's go for the cup. Reach out now at BecksellsFLA.com. That's BecksellsFLA.com, Jeremy Beckham with Next Home Treasure Coast.
Thank you, Nick. And before we do give a little preview here to what's ahead for the Florida Panthers, and before I make our contest announcement here for the Anton Lundell JSA certified signed photo, appreciate everyone that did enter into that contest. Make sure to give us thumbs up on this video, helps with our algorithms. If you're over on the Apple and Spotify side, make sure you turn on your automatic downloads for our podcast episodes. That really helps as well with the algorithms there. And appreciate all the community members signing up. We had a new community member sign up the other night there. I don't know if it's Jose. He goes by Jay. So we'll just call him Jay for now, Nick. So appreciate that. You're our fourth community member. You can sign up for our gold, silver, bronze memberships. Make sure to look at what is involved in those perks. And when you become a gold or silver member, make sure to DM me over on the Instagram side or the X side at KJ_loops, and I'll let you know more details there. But without further ado, we will announce our contest winner here. We've had contest winners this summer from Maine, from California, obviously from the Southern Florida area. Well, our newest contest winner is from the Orlando area. He's going to be traveling tonight, Nick, and tomorrow to go see the Miami Dolphins play. So hopefully good there. And he said,
well, this will cheer up his weekend then.
Right? Cheer up his weekend. He said he cannot watch us live here tonight because he's going to be traveling, but he'll probably watch us on what's the train called, gentlemen?
Amtrak?
No, the
Brightline.
Brightline?
Thank you. The Brightline train. Thank you, Chris. So our winner is Sebastian C over on the Instagram channel side there. So congratulations, Sebastian, on winning that Anton Lundell GSA certified photo. We'll have more photo contests ahead, Nick. We've had some signed pucks as well. I hear we're getting some Brad Marchand memorabilia or signed stuff as well. We already have, right? So good things there. And we got to give our next ticket announcement on Nick, I think on Monday night, whether we're doing a live stream or not.
It'll be all season long. So we're going to be giving away a bunch of stuff.
And those are club level tickets, right? Really
correct.
Good.
It's club level tickets.
All right, Nick, takeaway here. Chris, what do we want to look ahead to here to Vegas? I guess on Monday, the end of this road trip, right?
Go ahead, Chris.
I think we had talked before the show that they are just coming off a loss against the Ducks.
Ducks
I think
are 10-3-1, top of the Pacific Division, in front of the Vegas Golden Knights, who they just, as you said, beat tonight. That's incredible.
I think, but Vegas is still, I think, third in the division. I know it's early to kind of look at this stuff, but it's important. I think Vegas is going to come out motivated, considering what we did to them a week ago on our ice. So they'll be at home. It's always a tough building for the Panthers to play in. I like the way I call it. Stone is still on IR, correct?
Yes, and William Karlsson, as of tonight, suffered an injury tonight, is day-to-day with a lower body injury. So,
and they're playing a goalie carousel there right now.
They got Akira Schmid.
They played a 7th round draft pick the other day. What was that?
They got an Akira Schmid and Carl Lindbom, 22 years old, from Stockholm, Sweden, a 7th round pick in 2021. Aiden Hill is out for quite a bit of time. He's week to week with a lower body injury. So a couple of injuries there. Both teams banged up, obviously. William Karlsson.
And the Panthers
Aiden
played
Hill.
One of their best games against Vegas.
That is correct. And so Mark Stone, Aiden Hill, William Karlsson, presumably are all out for Vegas. And we know who's out for us. We've been watching this shit night in, night out, right?
Well, I'm hoping that some of the jump in play the second half of the game today was the Panthers realizing like, hey, we're getting at the end of this road trip and we've only got 2 points.
Mhm.
So I'm hoping that carries over into the game in Vegas. You don't want to go home from a 4-game road trip with only 2
Right.
points. So I'm hoping that that'll carry them through. I do want to make a quick point on. I just got to shout out my guy, Mackie Samskevich. I told you a while back, Kirby, that I wanted to make a little point on Mackie. I think Mackey's one guy on the roster that's really benefiting from Brad Marchand being around and his skating. When I see Mackey skating around on the ice, it reminds me a lot of Marchand, and I think he's improved a lot in that area, just how he's moving around, finding his spots. So he only has 2 goals in the season. They're both on the power play, so I think that needs to step up. But he creates a lot of chances, man. I really like Mackey. I really like what he does out there.
Well, look, coming into tonight here, to your point there, Chris, he's third on the team in points, so he's collecting those assists, so that would be 7 assists there if my math.
And for everybody saying, it's obviously it sucks having a bit of a rough year with everything after winning back-to-back Stanley Cups. Imagine having a rough year after losing back-to-back Stanley Cups, as the Edmonton Oilers got pumped tonight by the Colorado Avalanche, right? 7-1. Oh my
9.
gosh. 9-1.
9.
Oh, okay.
9 times.
I saw it at 7.
I saw it at 7-1. So,
Wow. Yeah.
I ain't got a problem with
I
that.
was going up against Diehard in our Cats and Rats Fantasy Hockey League. I think I took the lead on Diehard, maybe on that start line. I'm assuming it was Stuart Skinner in that there.
I think they probably pulled him as.
There's 9-1. Stuart Skinner allowed 4 goals on 13 shots.
Like our moderator Ryan said when Diehard made that pick, how do you like my goaltending? And he had Tarasov or someone else before. He's like, well,
that is just brutal.
Skinner's a backup.
That is just brutal. Oh my
that was a good comment there by Ryan there. But chat, let us know tomorrow in the morning. Appreciate all the replays. Make sure to give us a thumbs up on the video. Comment on how you think the Panthers will finish out this road trip. We will be live for that post game. If not, maybe a potential live stream for that.
We might have to do an emergency one if this shit keeps going.
Nick, come on! You've been kind of up and down on this team this year.
Yeah, look.
My
expectation is around what we're at, and I like to put a little humor on it because it makes it more enjoyable and digestible for everybody else, right?
I want to clarify.
So, look, we're doing a job. They're doing a job. I mean, I think you got to give credit to the coaching staff. I wish I could give credit to the other teams as much as I'd like to, but I genuinely believe it's because of how shorthanded we are. And, if our other guys, they get going, if we can get Sam Bennett and Carter Verhaeghe going, well, then this changes quite a bit. I mean, we're treading water without him right now, essentially. So
I just want to give a shout out to Jose in the chat there. I can't put that on the screen because Jose, for some reason, the emojis don't show well on the screen, but I appreciate you being it doesn't show well on the screen. So appreciate Jose, your member. Make sure to DM me off air here and we'll let you know a little bit more. So appreciate you signed up right at the end of our live stream there, and we couldn't give you a shout out there the other night. So appreciate you being here. Cody's got a comment in there as well, I think.
I want to ask you guys a question. Just going back briefly to tonight's game, what did you guys think of the second San Jose goal? Did you think it was a high stick or not? I thought it was a high stick.
I couldn't tell. I mean,
San Jose feed. Now they could be a little biased, but the angles I saw, it looked fine to me.
It looked so. It depended on the angle. It looked like it was above his shoulders. I don't know if it was above the crossbar or not. I couldn't tell.
There was a low angle that they showed on the Panthers broadcast that looked like it was high, and the fact that, I was completely fooled by that goal because I saw Tarasov, reach up real high, so I thought he grabbed it. I didn't even see the deflection, so that led me to think that puck was going really high, as far up as Tarasov was reaching his glove. So I was a little upset that they allowed that goal.
That puck was really rising. So when I saw it on the San Jose replays, I'm like, I don't blame Tarasov at all for this one because that deflection really.
Yeah, there's nothing you could do there. That's a half a second.
Yeah, but that puck was rising and it was going higher and higher, and that's the position of where he kind of had his glove there on that one. So when I saw it on the different replays, I was like, can't do much about that one there. So yeah, interesting to see what the chat thinks on that there. Shout out to Caesar there in the chat, our guy Cody. They should be back with us on Monday night. A little bit of a scheduled off night for them. Anything else, gentlemen, before we wrap?
No,
Nick?
I think we're ready to. We got to get a win here on Monday night. We are 7-7-1. We haven't fallen below 500 since the Buffalo game, so we've kind of been alternating wins here. Reminiscent of another season we had that looks eerily similar to this one, right, Kirby, a couple years ago. But we'll see what happens, and I trust that the guys should and will get it done.
And Chris, of course, with the losses, we've only been accumulating losses on each post-game show, so we'd love to have you back. But any kind of closing statements, what we want to see moving forward here with the Panthers?
I'm kind of with you guys, or at least with Nick. I have my expectations tempered. So, I'm just I want to see what the team looks like when Kachuk gets back and see what kind of difference that makes. And as long as they're kind of riding 500, I'm interested to see how this Eastern Conference shakes out. If everybody's going to be kind of beating each other up, and then maybe you don't need as many points to get into the playoffs. And lastly, since I got the community looking at me right here, I just want to let everybody know. Be patient with me on our fantasy write-ups, but also with the season-long contest for Saturdays. I always do my best to get those updates out on Monday or Tuesday the latest. So just
and we really do appreciate it, Chris. We know it takes a lot of time, but we really are appreciative of it. Speak
Chris,
for all of us, me, Kirby, everybody, Cody, everybody.
Because weekends are busy, and Chris is really helping on that stuff.
Yep.
Because we're doing the football stuff. Again, the Panthers play, Chris, I think. Like,
Meeksy, I'll have to go take a look at it again, but I will say we are losing a lot of net front battles defensively this year, so I'll go take a look at that. I'm not sure exactly how Gaudet got there. I thought it was a little bit it was in a bit of a weird spot, but I didn't see anybody in front of Tarasov, so I'm not really sure what happened. I think it was off the face-off, right? So we'll have to go take a look and see what happened there. And they moved it across.
Jones pushed the puck up and it didn't get out, but I don't know if I blame him on that play. It's like trying to move it up, and San Jose kind of
you got him. Yeah.
It wasn't quite like the Ekblad one in LA where he gloved it right to the guy. So I don't know.
Not much stuff is like Aaron Ekblad does it, but that'll be it.
Yep, that'll be it. Nick, you want to wrap us up for the night?
Yeah, of course. Well, we really do appreciate it, everybody. Here on a late Saturday night. Chris with a K, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Shout out to our guy Cody. Sees we're not here tonight, but they'll be back, I presume, on Monday. If not, me and Kirby definitely will. And give us a subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram. Make sure you follow me, Kirby, Cody on Twitter. And Chris, where can everybody follow you?
My handle on Twitter is what you see down there on the screen. Perfect. It's Chris_crosscheck. So come follow me. I'm always talking Panthers and music and just whatever on Twitter.
That's awesome. And make sure to give us a 5-star on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We really would appreciate it. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and leave your comment about anything we might have missed or that you want us to talk about from here on out. And as we always say, let's go Cats.
What's up, Cats and Rats fans? If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button before you head out. If you're listening to us on Apple and Spotify, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. And just like always, let's go Cats.